Hello and welcome to the Empowered You Project. My name is Vicky Lord, and on Mondays in here at 11 a.m. we run the Boldly Become You Monday morning workshop, and today is that workshop, and we're talking about the 3 strategies to live a bold life, because we can't get through life if we are not bold and have something that we're working on. So excited to have you here today. If you're jumping in, please say hello in the comment section and introduce yourself if you haven't already, and let us know what bold means to you, what a bold life means to you. So we're getting started today, and the 3 strategies to live a bold life really is so that you can create a life where you're comfortable being you, where you don't feel like you need to live up to the world's expectations or your childhood expectations or external people's expectations, but you're creating a life where you're comfortable being you and where your confidence can shine so bright and you're happy simply being yourself. So that's what the authentic self is, and it's fully accepting yourself and diminishing the fear of judgment of others. A lot of the time, the fear and judgment of others is what holds people back. I know it did for me in the past. That's why I mention it right now, is a lot of fear of judgment and doing the wrong things. So we're going to get to the bottom of that today and create these 3 strategies that will let you live a bold life and an authentic life of who you are. So the first strategy to do today is to do some self-reflection, so to really uncover your authentic self. And it's called self-reflection because what we're doing, self-reflection is exploring your beliefs and values about yourself and about how you perceive the world and how you want to live. And we do this, one of the ways that I explore deeper into myself, it's called deep work. So we've got the shallow work, and that's where we put a facade on and we try to put a happy face on and let people know that everything's okay. But the deep work is going into our soul. It's asking ourselves what our soul most deeply desires. Who do I want to be, and what beliefs do I want to have? And so I do this with a pen and paper. I get a pen and paper or a notebook, and it's really handy as well when you come onto these sessions to have a pen ready, because we do go deep. So asking yourself with the pen and paper, and what does my soul most deeply desire? Who do I want to be? And what courage do I want to have? What beliefs do I want to have? And it's doing some soul searching and just letting the pen flow and writing who your authentic self is, taking some time to become aware of that so that you can create that lifestyle. Because what happens if we don't create the life that we want to live or the life that we desire? We secretly shove it down and we just drift, and life just lets us drift wherever we end up. We'll drift and we'll end up in a career that we don't enjoy, or we'll drift and we'll end up in a relationship that we're like, how do we get here? And we'll just drift through life aimlessly, purposelessly. And if we're just drifting, we're not really creating our authentic self, or we're not becoming aware of our authentic self. So that's why pen and paper is really important. We're going to discover what our soul most deeply desires, and then we're going to make a plan to do that. But you won't get there if you don't do a little bit of self-reflection. And self-reflection doesn't mean that your personality is going to change. You're going to stay exactly the same with your personality. You're still going to be a kind-hearted, loving human being. We're all destined to be that. But your purpose is different. It's individual. So the soul is an individual, and the individual being within ourselves does have a purpose and has a meaning, and that's what's unique to each individual person. As a whole collective of the universe, we all have love, we all have peace, we all have access to all of this amazing human qualities, but the individual soul is your authentic self, and this is where we want to go deep on your authentic self. So take some time today with pen and paper to write down, what does my soul most deeply desire? And what comes next after that? Often once we become aware of what our soul most deeply desires, it's something totally different. often. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes people are very clear. My soul most deeply desires being a real estate agent, and so they make their path to do that. For others, some boldness is having more courage to have a conversation with people. Sometimes a conversation is so hard, but somebody wants to have a new friend. Their soul desires a new friend, and that new friend requires new conversations. But there's a block there, there's some fear that stops a person having a new conversation. So the second strategy here is to work on the fear, because you've got what your soul most deeply desires. And now you've got to go and you've got to take some action steps to create what your soul most deeply desires. You've got to be open and willing to new things. And sometimes being open and willing to new things creates a fear. I'll give you an example. So back in 2016, I got introduced to the world of what I'm talking about now, the soul, and what the soul most deeply desires. And it was a whole new concept for me, because I was just drifting through life. I was just like letting life throw me wherever it drifted until 2016. And I went to a conference and this man said, write down the purpose of your life. And my pen just went, the purpose of my life is to be a blessing and take people on a beautiful adventure. And my soul became awake, and I was like, that is exactly my purpose in life. It's to take people on a beautiful soul's adventure, to find out what the soul wants and take them on an adventure. But the funny thing is, to do that, I had to have conversations with people. And when I was having conversations with people, my body would start to shake, and I physically picked up the phone and I pegged it across the yard. I threw it, and my body was shaking. I was like, I can't do this. Like, it was so hard going on deep conversations with people to find out what their soul desired and to create a map and a plan to help them to get that. I freaked out and I threw the phone shaking. And as I stood there shaking, looking at the phone across the yard, I was like, I have to master this fear. I have to be okay with this fear and master it. So I went and I picked the phone up and I started having phone calls again, still shaking. And I'd sweat, and my family joked about this. It was called the sweat of success, because I wanted to help people, but I had a fear of deep conversations. So I had to be okay with the fears that came along with that. And if you explore the fear, so if just mapping this out for you, if you stay with me, you'll get this. You've got what your soul most deeply desires. So if I was to ask you, what does your soul most deeply desire, you'll know what that is. Or if you don't, you'll spend some time and you'll figure out what it is. And then the stepping stones to get there will be like, I need to do this, 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 and this. But often what happens is fear pops in. It's the fear of failure. For me, it was the fear of rejection, and it was the fear that people wouldn't believe me, that they can get what their soul most deeply desires. I know they can because I did it, but will they believe me? And these fears just kept popping up. And then I'd do a Facebook video and I'd be scared that people wouldn't like me. I'd think, oh, they'll see my missing tooth, or they'll see my grey hair. All these fears pop up. And so when you're making steps towards what your soul most deeply desires, you have to be okay with the fear. The fear is a normal part of the process, which takes me to tip number 3. It takes you into growth. So the fear is where you will grow and you will create your destiny. Because if you think about a seed, when we put a seed in the ground, it's destined to grow. It grows, so we'll take a fruit seed. So you put a fruit seed in the ground, it will grow into a little seedling, and then it will grow into a little shrub, and then it will grow into a fruit tree. It's destined to grow, and it's the same as you. You're destined to grow. For the seed in the ground, it's destined to grow by the dirt being compacted, water and sunlight. The same for you to grow is going to be compacted by challenging your fear. You know, when I picked up that phone, I challenged the fear. I was like, no, I'm going to help people with my life. I'm going to take them on a beautiful adventure and find out what their soul most deeply desires. And today I do that because I went and I picked up the phone and I challenged that belief. So my exercise for you today, I'd like to finish this off with a little exercise so that you can map out your life and create your own destiny instead of drifting. If you like drifting, go drifting. I did it for many years before I made the decision to go and explore what my soul most deeply desires. So if you're ready to move on today, the exercise that I want to take you through is get your pen again and write down or identify a fear that would hold you back from living what your soul most deeply desires, and choose to challenge it. Choose to take a simple step. So my simple step was picking up the phone and making a simple phone call, even though I felt all the fear of rejection. What's a little fear that would stop you from moving forward to what your soul most deeply desires? And challenge it. Do a little challenge and then write down how your life will change for the positive when you go and challenge this little fear. Because, you know, a lot of the time, in fact, nearly probably 100% of the time, the fear isn't real. It's just a level of fear that we're ready to face in our life. So, yeah, we don't need to do something so extremely daunting, but we're going to take fear in little steps and challenge the little fears along the way. And then as your life grows, of course, you'll get some different fears. But that's a challenge for today, the exercise for today. Choose a fear that you choose to challenge. And I'm really excited to hear what kind of challenge or fear that you do. So finishing this off, if anyone wants any assistance in talking about what your soul most deeply desires or how to map it out, comment chat and I'll happily reach out to you and have a chat about where you want to go in your life. So I hope you enjoyed today. If you found it useful, send me a love or a like or a thumbs up. Have a fantastic day, my friends, and I'll see you later in the group. Bye.